Here's a preview of what you'll hear on this episode of Beyond the Wheel.
I don't do anything differently than I would in, say, an apartment or a house. I use all the power I want. I can use my laptop. If I'm going to use anything, I can use anything as long as our inverter will allow it. And I don't have to listen to Kenny telling me about turning on the inverter needlessly.
Now enjoy the show.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety. So go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn batteries keep you out there longer.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Driver's Edition with Beyond the Wheel. As you can see, well, if you're watching us live on video right now, you can see that we are joined by our wives, Sabrina and Julie. You girls can say hi.
Hello.
And the reason being is because Sean and I have some really big news that we're doing a giveaway. We've done giveaways in the past, but this is our largest giveaway ever. And the reason we're doing a giveaway is that this is our 95th episode. We're getting close to our 100th episode. And Sean and I are actually really proud of the fact that we have never missed the scheduled episode. We do an episode every other Thursday. We've been on track since the very beginning without a miss. We even snuck in one or two bonus episodes. So to kind of congratulate us and to share in this excitement, who wants to announce what the giveaway is? Who wants to say it?
You can say it, Kenny.
All right. So, so Battleborn Batteries is going to give us a 100 amp hour, 12 volt battery as a prize to one lucky listener. And Sean and I are making this super easy to be able to win the prize. All you have to do is go to our website. There's going to be a button right at the top of our page that says enter here. You're going to click that button. It's going to ask for your email, and that's it. If you want to do a little bit more, you can. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you'll get an extra entry. If you want to follow us on Facebook, you'll get an extra entry. If you want to share it, you get 3 extra entries. So, but really all we're asking for is just your email. We're not trying to make you jump through any hoops, and the email is just so that we can let you know if you are the winner. And we promise not to spam you. So we do get we will have your email, but if you talk to anybody, we put out 1 email a month, just a little newsletter of what's going on in the industry, what's going on with us. We really hardly bother you. So
and you'll have your choice of either the GC2 battery or the 10012, however you say that one. So like the normal configuration, 12 volt, 100 amp hour, like is a regular 12 volt battery, or the one that you can stand up on its side, I guess, are the two, are, either one.
And they're the same specs. It's just a dimensional thing that's different. Sean, you actually have the GC2 and I have the 112. Yeah. And so it's really just where you're going to place them. The 112 fits perfectly in my stairwell where my old batteries were. You put yours in a cabinet in your fifth wheel and the ones that stand up. So it's really just, and you do have, like Sean said, you'll have a choice of which one you want. So whatever fits best for your configuration. So when you win, we're going to set you up. We're going to put you in contact with Battleborn, and they will get your information and mail you or ship you the battery. So it's kind of out of our hands at that point. But as far as picking the winner, that's all on our side of it. Battleborn doesn't have anything to do with that. Battleborn doesn't care who wins. And honestly, we don't either. We're not even picking the winner because we're using a third-party app called King Sumo. It's going to pick the winner. So if you want to send bribes, if you want to tell us how wonderful we are, you can, but it's not going to get you any brownie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't help you win the contest. Sorry, Sabrina. It will not help you win the contest.
Unless you know the King Sumo algorithm, then you
might be able to help that. Which somebody out there probably does. Somebody's smart enough. So this is great. This is, if you have if you're like us and you have Battle-Born batteries already in your RV, now you're going to get an extra 100 amp. If you don't, and you're still with a lead acid battery, this is a great opportunity now that you'll be able to switch right over to lithium power. And I can say, like, we had in our motorhome before we had the Battle-Born batteries, our one Battle-Born battery is more powerful amp hour wise, usable amp hours than our 2 lead acid batteries were. So it's a huge difference when you switch over to a Battle-Born battery. And you guys have heard Sean and I explain all the benefits of Battle-Born batteries over the years. So we also thought it would be nice if Sabrina and Julie could maybe share their Battle-Born experience, if there is one at all. Some of the highlights of a Battle-Born battery is that you kind of forget that you're even in there because they're kind of flawless. So who would like to go first, Julie or Sabrina?
So I would say that I don't really think too much of the batteries. I didn't think too much of the batteries before, and I found out that you were actually doing things to the batteries every month that I didn't know were happening. And now you don't have to do those things. But from my standpoint, I don't do anything differently than I would in, say, an apartment or a house. I use all the power I want. I can use my laptop. If I'm going to use anything, I can use anything as long as our inverter will allow it. And I don't have to listen to Kenny telling me about turning on the inverter needlessly all the time.
I'm very similar to Sabrina in that I didn't really pay too much attention to the whole power situation. That was kind of Sean's deal. But one thing that I have noticed that I really like about the batteries ever since we got the Battle-Born batteries is the need to run the generator much less, because they hold so much more power and you can take those batteries all the way down. You don't have to keep paying attention like you do with lead acid batteries. And at 50%, we got to go run the generator now. You can just keep using them. And, if you get to the point where they're out of juice, and it doesn't do any damage, which that's a good thing, because one time we were mooch docking and Sean had to go on a business trip. So he left me alone in the RV. And I thought I knew how to use the app where I was paying attention to the charge of the battery, but clearly I didn't, because I completely ran them all the way out. But I didn't have to worry about those batteries being destroyed, because with Battle-Born batteries, there is no degradation of them for discharging them all the way. So that was one thing that I really liked, is that you really don't have to pay attention to them. And also you don't have to run your generator that long or that often, because when you're out boondocking, you really just don't want to hear it all the time.
Yeah, I always say that they're smart enough to kind of take care of themselves, and because I'm dumb enough to damage things. So
my regular batteries didn't last long. Me and Sabrina would have got along perfect, because she wouldn't have known that I was not doing the maintenance on them every month.
I tried to take care of our lead acid batteries, and they still wound up failing us, because we did what Julie said. We ran them down to nothing too often. But I mean, they just didn't do much. They just didn't have enough power to do what we were trying to make them do. Run a furnace overnight in cold temperatures. It just couldn't do it overnight. And I guess we thought it should.
Because that seems so basic.
It seemed like that big of a draw, but our lead acid batteries wouldn't handle it. So this is a great opportunity for somebody. You're thinking about getting Battle-Born batteries and upgrading to lithium. We got you covered. Well, we got one of you.
You can be like me and just.
In fact, yesterday I was running my AC not plugged in at all, just off the batteries and the inverter. So
you have a more robust system than we have. We only have a 1,000 watt inverter. So that's our bottleneck in our system, is definitely the inverter. We got solar, we got the Battle-Born batteries, but our inverters at 1,000 watts is definitely our bottleneck as far as what we can do, which is probably also why it's hard for us to kill our Battle-Born batteries, because we're limited to a 1,000 watt inverter. There's only so much we can really do. But I think
what they tell you, what Battle-Born tells you, is you know, a lot of people think about solar first or, you know, other things. What you really need first is that reservoir to store the energy, which is the battery.
Yep.
And so this contest is perfect for someone who's trying to get into those lithium batteries for that bigger power storage. This is a great freebie.
If you want to enter, don't do it right now. Listen to the rest of the show, but go to our website, click enter here. It's only ask you for your email or your Facebook. You can log in through Facebook and that'll count as well. I just found that out as I was testing it this morning to make sure it was working. So it's live right now. You can enter the contest right now after this show is over.
Great. Yeah. So this month, Kenny, we were at our second, I say our second because Beyond the Wheel podcast, second live event of the year. And we were at the FMCA, what's it called? The International Convention.
Yeah.
AKA rally. So we were there for the entire thing.
So you've been to the FMCA rally before. It was my first time, Sabrina's first time at the rally. And yeah, we were doing the show there, but we also had a lot of fun there. I saw some shows at night. I saw an illusionist during the day. We met up with some people that listened to the show and came up to the booth and started conversing, which is always nice. You know, it's nice when we get to meet these people firsthand. And John let us know too that not only does he like the show, he listens to the show, but because of us, he found Panels Up Solar, and he's having them do some work to his RV, which is really nice that we were able to connect him with Justin over at Panels Up Solar, because Justin seems like, I've never met Justin, but you have. He seemed like a very nice guy when we were interviewing him, and he's on go and get some work done to his RV. So that's always nice too, being able to meet the listeners.
Yeah, it's cool to know that people actually listen and we're just not talking to each other.
That's true too. I didn't know that.
But we had a lot of live interviews there that are all on our Facebook page, and we're turning them into podcasts. So after this episode, it'll be a string of podcasts from the interviews we did at the rally. And it was crowded there.
I thought it was a really good turnout too. That exhibit hall was pretty much packed every day. And they had good turnouts for the entertainment too, and the shows and stuff. And I didn't make it to any of the seminars. I mean, you and I were kind of busy throughout the whole show, but it seems like people really appreciated having the seminars as well, and being able to learn. I know Battleborn Batteries put on a seminar, but every day they had seminars going on, generators, roadmaps, everybody. Fantasy RV Tours seemed to be the really popular one. And Nell from Fantasy RV Tours, she's the owner. She was on the show and she did an interview. Super nice person as well. I thought it was a really fun show, not just because we were there, but just in general. We had ice cream almost every day. That'll get me anywhere.
And we did the live episodes with me and you have only done one previous to that together. And that was without good live podcasting equipment. But with all the stuff we have now, it worked out really well.
And we got to see each other in person again.
I know, that's a big deal
so
too.
Long.
That was a big deal. Yeah. I'm actually surprised that all of our interviews during the rally went without any technical issues, because even though we've done live shows before, we've never done live shows in a location while broadcasting all at the same time.
Yeah.
For us to combine all those elements and not have one technical issue the whole time, everybody showed up on time, every guest. That was what I was most surprised about. I really didn't think everybody, because we had kind of a tight schedule, 9 a.m. to 9:30, 10-minute break, and then the next guest right at 9:40. And everybody was on time. I couldn't believe everybody was on time.
Yeah. So who did we have? We had Chris Smith, the CEO of FMCA, the first day, along with Blue Ox.
Yep. Blue Ox was
Justin
first day.
from Blue Ox, I think it was. And then the second day, Fantasy RV Tours, Nell, and Roadmaster.
Yep.
Day 3 was Don from the Rev Group.
Yep.
Who was after him?
Henderson Group.
Oh yeah, Henderson Lineup.
Henderson Lineup. Robert, the owner of Henderson Lineup.
And they have the Super Steer line of products.
Yep.
Very interesting interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last day we had the creator of the RVAC silencer, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and Boomer, the president of Passport America.
Yeah, really great episodes every single day. So what we're doing is we're going to take those interviews that we had and we're going to make them into like special rally editions where they will be, day 1 of rally, day 2 of rally, day 3, and day 4 of rally. So you'll get to hear like almost what we experienced at the rally. Sean's going to edit them up and clean them up a little bit, but you'll get to hear a little bit of the background noise going on of people walking by us and pointing and waving and stuff like that. But yeah, it was, I like that live experience. I like that we were able to sit down and chat with the person and see the person. Sean had said when he did this in the Tampa show that you felt that it was an easier interview when you're actually sitting with the person rather than online with the person. I would agree. I thought it was very nice to have the 3 or 4 of us, whoever we were all conversing with, sitting right there with us. It was a really cool experience. And it sounds like we're going to do it again because FMCA was very happy with how everything turned out. And they've invited us to come back for their 105th rally. Well, you call it convention, right? Convention.
Yeah, I'm calling it what they call it.
Yeah, they call it, I call it a rally. And that's not that far away. That's going to be in August in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Lincoln, Nebraska. So we'll be up there doing the whole show again. In fact, they must have really enjoyed it because, this time around we did 2 episodes a day or 2 interviews a day. They asked if we would be willing to do more interviews in a day. And that's something that you and I still need to talk about, I guess, as far as how many interviews can we do in a day without burning ourselves out for the next day because, I mean, it's not that it's a ton of talking, but it's a lot of mental gymnastics for me.
And I only have a certain amount of words and then,
That's right.
then they go away. But we do have an FMCA discount if anybody, I mean, I thought it was a really good rally, probably one of the better ones I've been to with all the events, and they had tons of RVs on display. They had a running event. They had lots of events and lots of activities. So, I mean, I thought it was a really good rally. And if you're not a member, you can become a member. We have a discount code. You can go on their website and go to membership and use the code BTW10, or you could just go on our website and go to the brands we trust, and the FMCA is on there, and you can just use that link and get the $10 off the first year membership.
In addition to getting to go to the rallies, there's a ton of benefits with being memberships. And I think you guys have a whole episode where you go through all that, right?
Yeah, we go through that. And their magazine is really good too. I like their magazine. It's one of the better RVing magazines as well. And it's open to, it used to just be motor coaches, but now it's open to everybody. And we saw everything from a little tiny teardrop to the biggest, fanciest Class A's.
Yeah, it was a good variety. Yeah, I agree. It was a good variety of all different types of RVs. And going back to that magazine, the magazine's available in paper and digital. So you can just get it right on your computer. And when you click the pages, they actually flip. So it's and I agree, it's a really good magazine. It's filled with, if you tow stuff, they got an edition where they list all the tow vehicles, really good information in there. And then we like the magazine also because we get to go through the vendors. I mean, that's kind of our thing. And we get to see who's advertising in there. And it always gives us ideas of who to try to get on the show next.
Yeah. So speaking of that, we both really liked when we talked to the RVAC silencer guy and the product that he developed. And we both ended up purchasing them.
Yep. I purchased one from him right at the show. His name's Daryl. Daryl's the owner and the creator of the RVAC silencer. And at the show, I got something that you did not get, Sean. I got the shirt. So I got a shirt that says I've gone wacko because the name of his company is Wacko Products. So yeah, I purchased it from the show. You flew, so you purchased it once you got home. We both installed them in our RV and we both have similar results. So my AC is quieter and it blows out more air and it feels more efficient. We were testing this out in Tucson not that long ago. Sabrina was working in Tucson, and we noticed that the RV will cool off faster because of the extra airflow. And then it turns the AC off because it's getting down to temperature. And then when it needs to kick back on again, it brings the temperature down faster and turns off. So we've noticed not only is it quieter, but it's not running for as long of a period of time, which is really nice too. And we're hoping that will equal in hotter months. I mean, we're already in 90 degrees here, that our AC might be able to actually keep up. Because normally we only have one AC unit, and in 90 to 105, we've been in 105. Once it turns on, it's on. It never turns off. So we're really curious to see, will the AC cycle more, or will it even cycle at all? Because normally once it's on in the summertime. So we're really curious to find that out. But this isn't a flaw in it, but the airflow seems a little much for Sabrina's sensitivity to breezes.
So I will start with, when you first installed it, I got into the RV. You told me you wanted me to come hear it. And I got in and I sat down in the seat. I usually sit in the RV. And my exact words were, "This is impressive," because it was so much quieter than it was before. It does increase the airflow, and usually I'm freezing. Even before this, I was always freezing. So it definitely noticeably increases the airflow too. For Kenny, that's wonderful. For me, I just turned the vents.
Yeah. Sabrina went to it as far as to say that the air is now shooting out of the vent, shooting out the vent, hitting our bedroom door, bouncing off the bedroom door, and hitting her. So dramatic.
I will say the ordering experience online was pretty good, because I ordered it one day. I got an email the next day saying it had already shipped. Wow. And then they sent me an email when it was delivered as well. So I knew when it was out on the doorstep. Then the install, well, you did the video, Kenny, and I'll post it on this Facebook page so everybody can see it. But you made a video about the installation there's no extra drilling. It's just, nice. It uses the existing holes, and it took about 20 minutes. And probably 5 minutes of that was just resting my shoulders.
That was the same for me too.
Yeah, just because you're holding it above your head for so long. And I actually measured the decibel difference between in our RV, and without the silencer on it, it was bouncing between 59 and 60 decibels. And then once I put it on, it went down to 54. So it was a considerable difference. But I agree with you, the airflow is so much better. I think it's going to definitely cool off the RV a lot faster, I guess.
When we were talking to Daryl and he had talked about the increased airflow, I feel like he downplayed that part a little bit. I felt like the extra airflow is almost more impressive than how much, like, it's kind of odd to think that the air is coming out stronger and faster and harder, but yet the whole system is now quieter. So I think it's a pretty cool thing that it got quieter, even though it's putting out more air. You would think more air flow would increase the sound, but it doesn't. Yeah, it's getting quieter while putting out more air. So for you guys, especially too, now I'm curious, Sean, because you do have that more robust system and you're able to run your AC off of your batteries. I wonder if you'll notice that you can run your AC unit a little longer because it's not cycling as often, maybe.
Yeah, I'll have to play with it.
Well, the other thing I like about the increased airflow is it's not just in the main front room where the AC unit is, but ours is ducted into our bedroom vents, but we also have a second air conditioner. And before, without the RV AC silencer, it wasn't very much airflow that came through those. So if we were in a very warm location, we would have to run that back AC. And I didn't like it because that AC doesn't really go on and off. It's just either on or off. And so when it's on, you can't really sleep because it's just dumping on you all night long. And first thing Sean showed me when he set it up, he's like, come into the bedroom and just sit on the bed. And you could really feel the air coming from the vents, from the main AC and the vents that are just in the bedroom. So I really like that because now we don't have to deal with that second AC that was just inconvenient and not comfortable.
Yeah, it's funny when these ideas, when we interview these people and these products, and it's always the products that are simple that seem to work the best. This has no moving parts in it. Like Sean said, there was nothing to drill. It was an exact fit type of thing. And we should probably also mention, because we're really gushing about this product, that we are not associated with these guys at all. Like,
No.
At the show, I paid full price for it at the show. No discounts, no nothing. Same with you. You paid full price for yours. So we're not associated with them, but we both are very, very impressed with it. And I said this to Sean, like, items like this, you wonder why doesn't the manufacturer already have this in place? Even if Dometic or Coleman doesn't offer it, why can't the Winnebago come with this AC silencer already in place? If it's good, if it's making, it makes a huge difference, this battery efficiency. So I wonder too, like I said, with your system, that you might be able to notice that you're running your AC longer when you're on batteries. I wonder if people at monthly sites would notice a lower electric bill because it's not cycling and running as long as it was before. I'm just curious. It must do. It would have to. Maybe it wouldn't be a significant amount, but it would have to decrease your monthly bills. I would think anyway.
Yeah, and I think the product cost right around $200, I guess.
Yeah,
which I feel like it was money well spent.
We're super happy already. Yeah.
We're
thrilled with it. Yeah, absolutely thrilled with it. Yeah.
I don't get impressed very easily.
No, and you guys know.
I'm a tough critic.
Sabrina's tough. She's just tough. And for her to sit down and be like, yeah, this is impressive. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Kenny, it's interesting that you said that about the power bill being lower, because just going back to the Battle-Born batteries for a minute, that was one way we use our Battle-Born batteries too, is if we're at a monthly site with an electric bill, we'll often just run off of our solar and our batteries and not use the campground unless we need to, because then our bill is so much lower.
Yeah, we were doing that too, but we got that idea from you guys. When we were in Virginia, when we were at
we were in Wytheville.
I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah, Wytheville. We were at a monthly site, and we stole that idea from you guys, and we shut off their power, and we were just going to run off the batteries.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys say that the campground came to check to see if your meter was working?
Yeah. They were like, wait, when I went to pay the monthly bill, they said, oh, this can't be right. Yeah. So they're not just for boondockers, I guess is the moral of that story.
Yeah, definitely not. Because, Sabrina and I don't really boondock that much. We do stay in a lot of campgrounds, but we also do a lot of overnight stays at like gas stations, Flying J's, Walmarts, Cracker, so for those overnight stays, man, the Battle-Born batteries are the best for those situations for us. We're able to even watch TV or run our furnace and not freeze at night and not have to worry about freezing at night. Yeah, so I agree. They're not just for boondockers.
So RV news, Kenny.
Yeah.
Still booming.
Oh, the demand for RVs is still crazy high.
Yeah, it's almost ridiculous.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that it is still going this strong. I honestly thought 3 years ago that the RV industry was going to start its little decline, because it was already high. They had 3 solid years of outperforming the years before, 3 years in a row. So I was thinking the end of 2019, we would have started to notice a downfall. And then of course, COVID happened and people realized, hey, you can use RVs for more than just traveling. You can use them for separation and for storage and of course for traveling and stuff like that. So it kind of reinserted its drive and continued to, but now, things with COVID are getting better, but it's so Winnebago has a 4.37 billion with a B backlog. That's not even what their profits, that's their backlog. I had to read that twice. I was like, wow, that's their backlog is that high. And they feel that this year will not slow down at all. They feel like this is going to stay. Mike Happ, President CEO of Winnebago, says that he thinks this is here to stay for at least another year like this, that they'll continue to do that.
Yeah, and then Thor, who's a lot bigger than Winnebago, have 17.7 billion with a B backlog.
I had to read that one 3 times.
I guess it's like, if you want to RV, if you think you're going to want to start RVing in the next year, you better order now.
Yeah, well, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people, in social media say that they ordered their RV and they're on a waiting list and they hope to have it in the following year.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. So, but when we drive by dealers, they do have units on the lot that I'm guessing are new. I wonder if they're just for show. I wonder if they're just to let you see what the floor plan looks like, but maybe you can't take them home. Maybe if somebody's listening or watching, because I haven't been in a sales situation.
Or maybe they're ones that people have ordered and they're just waiting for them to come pick them up.
Oh, that could
they're
be
using them like as demos until they're ready to be picked up.
That's possible. Because even at the FMCA show, they had a lot of demos, but remember how many of them were, they had a lot of used ones too, which I've never seen at a rally before, where dealers will bring their used product to the show because they normally have enough stock of new ones. But yeah.
And normally at the shows, there's pretty good deals, but I didn't see that here at FMCA or in Tampa. The prices are still pretty high. I mean, even on those used ones, you're paying a premium.
Yeah. Well, the used ones I can see now, because you can't get a new one for a year, but you could get that used one today. And people will be willing to pay a surplus to have it today. I mean, market adjustment. Hey, if you wait a year, now you're missing your whole camping season. I feel like most of us are like microwave babies, is my term. Nobody likes to wait for anything. Everybody, wants it now type of thing. But yeah, you're paying for those used ones are going for almost as much as a new one.
Yeah. So, they had quite a few used ones there for people to look at. I mean, they were in great shape, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I don't see why not get a used one, especially if you have to wait. But yeah, you're going to pay for it right now.
Yeah. We don't mind the used. We always say slightly used is the way to go. And the ones that we were looking at the show, I feel like most of them we didn't know if they were new or used until we found a sticker saying if it was a used one. I remember us looking at them and be like, is this one new or is this one used? And we would have to kind of sift around and look for a sticker that said what year it was. And we were surprised by some of them because they were very nice. So slightly used, I think, is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully campgrounds start building and adding on, because I can't see the capacity keeping up with the demand.
Yeah, but it takes a while, right, for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Sun RV that came on the show last year, and it took them. Do you remember exactly? It was over 6 months. It wasn't like, all right, we're going to build a campground here. We'll have it in no. I think it took them almost a year to have that turnaround. But like what Joe Holland does with Boondockers Welcome and Harvest Host. That's a great program for if you can't get into a campground, you can have a cool experience through Harvest Host and something like that. We talked to Boomer from Passport America, and he was talking about adding on extra campgrounds to the system because this demand is going to drive the prices of the campgrounds up.
Yeah.
But at least with like his program, if you're not familiar with Passport America, you can stay at these campgrounds that are part of their Passport America network and get 50% off. I don't know if we've noticed it too much yet. Do you think that the campgrounds are increasing the prices? Like we've been to the same campgrounds that we were at last year, this year. They're relatively.
Yeah, I feel like it's more seasonal, more so than due to demand. I feel like it's more seasonal.
Okay.
So far.
Yeah.
One thing I have seen in the news, talking about new campgrounds is unfortunately people in towns don't necessarily want a campground. So a couple different times now I've read articles where zoning local residents are showing up when someone's thinking about purchasing some land and building a campground there. Residents are showing up and saying, we don't want a campground here, because to them it's increased traffic, and they're worried about it being dangerous for their families or their kids and things like that. So we've seen actually a couple of campgrounds just get bought out by someone else. One was Sun RV Resorts, and it's here in Southern Virginia. And then another one, it was a KOA, and now it's just a privately owned. Mm-hmm. But in both cases, what they did was just try to expand on the campground that was already there, maybe make it a little bit nicer, put in more power, areas and things like that, but not able to have a brand new campground from scratch. So these things like Boondockers Welcome and stuff might be even more in demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could see the traffic. Really, only the traffic makes sense to me, because a campground will bring in more traffic, but it will also bring in more revenue for your town, city, maybe smaller shops, cafes, restaurants. So, I would feel like there's more positives than negatives, but sometimes people have a negative preconception of RVers, maybe. We're very friendly people. I've never met an angry RVer. One time in Canada, but for the most part, super friendly people and very respectful of property. And, we really, most of us believe in that, I can't remember.
The leave no trace type
the
of thing.
The leave no trace. Yeah. Take what you brought in type of thing. But I can see, I guess we have maybe sometimes a negative.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like we saw that one article, like Julie was talking about with the campground, where it was like, if this campground opens, this many hundreds of people will be hit. Like, it was talking about being hit by. I was like, how did they predict how many people were going to now get hit by cars?
Yeah, like what data do they have that suggests where there's an existing campground that people are getting hit routinely? In front of it. I don't know where that comes from. I think, like Kenny said, it's some fear or preconceived idea that they have in their mind that I don't think you really hear about it happening.
No. We're moving at 10 miles an hour in these big RVs. We're barely moving. If it's an accident, you must have hit us, because there's no way we hit you.
It was a pretty dramatic article when I read it. I was like, whoa, I don't want this campground here, and I don't even live here.
Yeah, we're like giant turtles. We're not really speeding around. Not in the neighborhood anyway. On the highway, I've seen some fast moving RVs.
Yeah.
But not so much around town. So also in the news, we thought we should talk about it because it's very difficult to go on any social media, or if you just type in RV news, this article is going to pop up about these two RVers that were lost for several days. I think it's easy for us to look back and kind of Monday morning quarterback it a little bit and say, well, this could have been done differently, or that could have been done differently. And it's a very sad ending because one of them did pass away. I would say the only, it's not even good news, but the only thing that I read that wasn't so negative is that there was no foul play. These people weren't targeted. Nobody vandalized them or did anything to them. It was just, they got lost. They've wound up on a road that they got stuck. They slept there one night in that one spot. Morning came, they got in their tow car, disconnected their tow car, tried to drive to an area that they could get cell signal, and then got their car stuck as well. I believe they were both diabetic. They were stuck in this car for like 4 days with no supplies, and he had passed away. It's just it's like the worst story for any RVer. It's a big fear for RVers is safety. I know when Sabrina and I were first hitting the road, people used to always ask us, well, aren't you guys worried about your safety? Mm-hmm. And I would say we were to a point, but not too much. The more times people asked us, we're like, should we be worried about our safety? They made us wonder that maybe we should be more. And luckily, we don't hear these stories too often, but they definitely do happen. And I know Sean and I wanted to share, and Sean and Julie and Sabrina will kind of share maybe some of the things that we do to make sure that we are being safe. It's a very sad story.
Yeah, I just think it's a good opportunity to look back on it and see what lessons you can learn from a tragic event, and sort of like an after action report. And even though we don't know all the details, I would say a couple things are, don't rely on just one piece of navigation. We always, like, we use a GPS, but we also look at the route on Google Maps. And, if Julie she might have something plugged into one of her GPS tools on her phone, and I might have it plugged into the RV GPS, and there might be some discrepancies that we look at, to say, well, one of these is not correct. So which one should we use? And then just one thing that I got for Julie, because she's outside of cell signal a lot, and we'll take it in our RV with us as well, is like a little Garmin InReach device. And it's very small, but it's connected via satellite. So even if you don't have cell signal, it has a SOS button. If you get into trouble, you can push it, and it reaches the close emergency services that can pinpoint your location using this device and come and find you. And so if you're not going to be in areas with cell service, especially if you're maybe have mobility issues or have, health problems, they were older, probably difficult to get an RV unstuck when you're over 70 years old, I would imagine. Having a safety device that it might seem expensive, like a few $100 and then $11 a month, but it could save your life too in a situation like this. So we always keep this with us just in case there's no cell signal. We still have a means of communicating, and you can even text people from there and it'll go through just from the satellites. And then I guess the other thing is, always let somebody know where you're at. Like, maybe it'd be easier to find you if they had a location, like every day, if you just checked in every day, okay, I'm here, I'm in whatever town getting gas and I'm heading south. We always check in with at least one of our family members, usually a couple on a daily basis.
Yeah, we usually do it at night. We usually check in with a few family members, a few friends for every location we stop at each night. We'll be like, all right, we made it here. This is where we are for tonight. And then tomorrow morning, we're getting back on the road towards our destination, wherever that may be. We also use, like you guys said, the GPS and the phone and Google stuff. And Sabrina's really good about using like the satellite views to see what terrain we might be going through or arriving at. And even if it's just to check like a parking lot to see if they have enough space to make sure that when we do arrive that the parking lot is large enough that we're not going to run into an issue. Just, something simple like that. Definitely agree with the keeping up. So you said with that device with the SOS, Sean, you can text, it has a keyboard on it, that little device?
It connects through your phone too. Oh, so you can Bluetooth with your phone, text and send it through the InReach device though.
And you can also pre-program messages into the device so that you can just automatically send them. Or like Sean said, if you do the SOS, it just automatically goes to someone, or use your phone. So there's a lot of different options. And I mean, we've tested it out because I've been, separate from him, like out on a trail where I don't have any cell signal. My phone says no service, but I have the app and I have this device on. And on my phone, because it's got the bigger screen, this does have a screen, but in order to do letters on here, it's kind of like, like Netflix with your remote where you have to scroll through all the letters. So I just pull up my phone app and I text him and I hit send on my phone that says no service, but it's sending through the device still. So it's really handy. It does have a monthly fee to have those text messages, like $12 a month. But to us, that $12 a month is worth it, like insurance wise, right?
Yeah.
Comes out of Julie's money anyway.
Yeah.
So they have different tier plans for it then?
Yeah, there's different tier plans. Like my plan is just for like 10 text messages a month.
Okay.
So yeah, there's different ones. You could obviously go unlimited and you could probably go less. I picked 10 because usually when I send him a text message, we had pre-programmed it that it automatically sends him my GPS coordinates too. So it's a message from me, whatever I say, usually starting my hike now, and it automatically also sends the GPS coordinates. So he knows exactly where I am.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I think that's a good investment right there.
So think about when I'm driving to work and sometimes I'm in the middle of nowhere and I lose my cell service for 20 miles or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing that used to always worry me when I was going hiking. Like, we live near Shenandoah National Park now, and I would go hiking up there. Well, almost immediately upon entering the park, I have no cell signal. And I wasn't even thinking about getting lost on the trail and needing this initially. The reason why I wanted it is, what if I get a flat tire? I can't call Good Sam or AAA. I can't call anyone because I have no cell signal. And now I can. Now I can text Sean and say, here's where I'm at. Can you please either come to my rescue or send, AAA or something.
And then as far as like tools and stuff like that, I carry probably more tools than I probably need, but I also feel like I try to be prepared. You're limited in space with an RV. You can only, but I mean, I have a shovel to dig out tires, and we got power drills and guns and all that, guns and stuff like that. So,
but I would say with like your carrying tools, you have to have the skills to use them, because I could have all these tools in the RV, and even if I have the tools, I'm going to stare at them.
Well, this is where you come in hand, and play. So you have all your medical equipment that I have no idea how to use, but she's got the stuff for us to perform CPR. She's got oxygen sensors. I'm diabetic, so it's a big deal for, she can take care of me if I'm having some type of issue, which is not that uncommon for me. I get lightheaded sometimes, or I feel dizzy, or, my blood sugars get a little wonky, but there's been times you've hooked me up to blood pressure. I got the thing on my finger. She's checking. I'm almost like in a little hospital bed. Oh my gosh!
But you could see, Kenny, how you start feeling when your blood sugar gets out of whack. Imagine if you were lost.
Yeah.
And in that situation, it could go downhill really fast.
Really fast.
Yeah.
I will say I probably have a weird diabetic issue where my sugars don't usually spike too high. My sugars are always low, and I need something to get my blood sugar back up, where I think most diabetics are the opposite. They're you would know better, but I feel like my blood sugar is dropping on me all the time, especially since I've been working out and losing weight. But
your medication seems a little over effective.
It seems a little too strong.
So I'll bring granola bars or something with me whenever, even when we're just going out, just short trips, I'll bring stuff in my purse just because I know he's going to all of a sudden start getting shaky and feel weird and get really strange.
So you have your own set of tools that you're comfortable with and that you know how to use. But I would say that's, don't just go out and buy, like even your SAT device, you have to know how to use it. You can't buy it and have it in the RV and not know what to do with it. Yeah. So, I mean, anything that you purchase, just know how it works and know its limitations and know its strong points.
And it's an interesting point with these people because they were in their RV and then of course they left their RV and went in the car, and then they got stranded in the car and they weren't able, I think you said that the woman had like a walker or something. So they didn't have the physical health to be able to hike back to the RV. So when they got in the car, I mean, I don't know this information, but how many people grab all their tools or whatever from their RV and then put them in their car? So, I mean, that's another thing to think about too, is just to like, maybe just always be aware of, what's the worst that could happen and am I prepared for it? And it's going to be different because everyone has different skill sets. Not everyone has the medical training or equipment that Sabrina has or the mechanical expertise that you have. This couple had health problems and also mobility problems. So that is something that you need to consider when you're deciding where you're going to go, how you're going to travel. A lot of people don't want to travel the highways, but if you're having those types of limitations, it might be more prudent to only travel on highways. And it's just kind of like information that you need to consider regardless. And then if your GPS does something funky and takes you down a dirt road, don't just go. Ask yourself, this doesn't seem quite right. I don't feel very comfortable with this, and constantly making those assessments.
Yeah, Sabrina and I probably know this from medical, like when you have a medical error where somebody dies, it's usually like they call it like the Swiss cheese effect, where all the holes line up from all the mistakes. And that's kind of what happened in this situation. It sounds like, based on the news. Of course, we don't know exactly what happened, but it sounds like the holes in that Swiss cheese lined up just right, so that there was a series of errors that became unrecoverable. And so thinking through that and figuring out how to mitigate those things so that you can stop that chain of events from happening is helpful, no matter what you're doing, really.
And Julie, I like what you said about preparation and as far as your skill set too, because the other thing is when you're stressed and under pressure or experiencing like medical issues and stuff like that, you may have had the skills to do a particular thing, but in that moment, you're trying to leave, you're trying to get out. Maybe you left a bag, maybe you didn't bring something with you. And it's just tough under pressure if you don't have everything in place, like Sean's saying, before something happens.
Yeah, like even something as simple as the first aid kit that we've got a good first aid kit. And I mean, something simple as that could make a difference.
Yeah, because we have one in the car, plus we have one in the RV, so that we don't have to transfer it. Yeah, so you don't have to transfer it back and forth. But I'm sure they probably thought that they were getting in their tow car, driving 10 miles down the road, and they were going to get help. Like they probably figured it'd take right 20 minutes. Yeah. They'd be gone for 20 minutes, not 4 days. They weren't planning for a 4-day excursion in their car or getting stuck. Yeah, I think it was just like one bad scenario after the other, and it's just very unfortunate.
Yeah, so it's important, like, of course, it's a terrible situation, but it's important to not just read and think that it's terrible, but figure out how you can not get in that situation. Like, what were the mistakes that I would have done the same as them, and how can I fix it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I feel like I don't even know most of the time if our tow car even has gas in it when we're towing it, because you like to tow it without gas. Not without gas.
I usually put about a quarter tank in it.
But I don't even know if it has gas. Like if there was an emergency, I wouldn't know off the top of my head, do I have enough fuel to get someplace in case of anything? I don't know all of those things, just thinking about those.
Or even disconnecting the tow car.
Yeah,
all those things before something bad happens, just thinking about them.
I know some people that only tow with a full tank of gas in case something goes wrong. But our car on a quarter tank, it's a hybrid. It goes pretty far on a quarter tank. It goes
100 miles.
It goes a couple 100 miles. Yeah.
But to Sean's point, if it's a couple, and often couples tend to break up duties, like who does what. So Sean is usually the one to hook up and unhook our fifth wheel. So if we were stuck and say he was injured, can I unhook it and drive that truck and go get help? It's unfortunate when tragic situations like this happen, but it's a good opportunity for the rest of us to learn and to try to make adjustments.
Yeah,
and practice these things when it's not an emergency, like disconnecting, hooking up, and all those things. Get familiar with it. Yeah. I guess it's tough to switch from that sadness on to the show, but we do want to mention a couple more things. One is that we want to hear from you. If you're listening right now, we'd love to hear what you have to say about this couple, what happened. We want to hear from you just in general about the show. We want to know, who do you want to have on the show next? We have shows planned already, I think all the way almost to July, but after that, who would you like to hear on the show? And we came up with an idea. I actually stole it from somebody else. I think Sabrina mentioned it, that she heard a podcast do this, where if you leave a comment, Sean and I read the comments. So we'll pick a comment of the month or of the week, and we'll read your comment on the air, and we'll give you credit for your comment. So leave your name the way that you would like it to be read out loud on the air. But yeah, I mean, we would like to hear from you, just like we met John at the show, and he came over and he talked to us and told us how much he enjoys the show and what we listen to. And he told us that we looked young. That was nice. But yeah, we want to hear the feedback. We want to hear what you like about the show, what don't you like about the show, and what would you like to hear more of. Maybe there's a question that we should be asking every person that comes on the show, if they're a CEO or a designer or engineer, that maybe we're missing and that you would like to learn from these people. So definitely, go to your favorite. We just found out that this isn't true.
I was going to say, we found out.
Leave a comment. But you can leave a comment on our website, and you can leave a comment on Apple iTunes for sure. So those two locations. You can also leave a comment on our Facebook page or our Instagram page or our YouTube channel. So we're not hiding from you. You can get in touch with us. And we definitely want to hear from you, and we'll read your comment out loud.
And actually at the rally, Kenny, we had mentioned some of the people that we were going to have on, and one of our listeners, Shakar, sent a couple questions, and we were able to ask them of the Rev guy. So let us know, and we definitely read it and try and incorporate it as we can.
Yeah, and one of the things we do in the newsletter is we always say who's coming on the show for the next month. And sometimes they're already recorded and sometimes they're not. But if they're not, we can throw a question in for sure. If you got a question that you want to ask somebody, let us know. Definitely let us know.
As always, as you can tell by our shirts and our backgrounds, we are so thankful to Battleborn Batteries for their support. And it was great to get to have dinner with some of the team there in Tucson at the FMCA rally. We couldn't do it without their support. They've been with us basically since the beginning, and it's really made a huge difference in what we've been able to do.
Yeah, and when Sean says support, some of you might just think, well, maybe what does that support mean? And that you might think it's just financial or giveaways. But I got a fun story at the show. I went to ask one of the vendors if they wanted to be on the show, and he was like busy on his phone. He wasn't really paying attention to me. And I said, we only interview people in the RV industry, and he's still kind of just messing on his phone. And I said, we're sponsored by Battleborn Batteries. And he dropped his phone and slid it to the side. He said, what did you say about Battleborn Batteries? And I said, we're sponsored by him. He's like, really? And what's your show about? So I won't say who it was, but they're coming on the show. They're going to be a guest on the show. And that was because of Battleborn Batteries. I feel like sometimes, it gives us a little bit of extra credibility that they're sponsoring us. They're a big name in the RV industry. They're well respected in the RV industry as having a great product and service. So yeah, it's more than them just financially supporting us. Just having their name behind us sometimes is support in its own.
Yeah. So after this episode, I think we have probably 4 episodes of rally, the interviews we did at the rally. So for the next month, that's basically what we're going to have, is those interviews just cleaned up a little bit and put in podcast form instead of video form. And it should be interesting to everybody. I know I've been enjoying re-listening to them, because when we're interviewing, we don't always hear everything that we want to hear during that episode, and going back and listening to them, I'm actually learning a lot.
And so after those 4 episodes, then we're going to have Sean Nichols from Battleborn Batteries come on the show. He's the owner. And what is his role? What is he other than owner? He is what? Is he CEO?
No, Dennis is CEO.
Dennis is CEO.
Sean is Wade is COO. I don't know what Sean is anymore.
I don't know either. Well, he's the owner. He's the owner of Battleborn Batteries. That's good enough. But he's going to come on and talk about marketing. But that will also be the time that we're announcing the winner. So of the 100 amp hour Battleborn battery. So the prize, the giveaway is going to run for 8 weeks. We figured this gives plenty of time to get the word out. everybody will get an opportunity to enter for it. And then if you want, tell your friends and you'll get 3 extra entries, but then you're also competing against them for that entry. So it's really up to you what you want to do.
So I think that's it, Kenny.
I believe that's all. Yep.
Thanks everyone for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you. If you do reach out to us, don't be surprised if your comment gets read on an episode. Safe travels, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety. So go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.